Now it's time for Real Talk.
Real talk.
Are you ready?
Okay, Deacon, what are we talking about?
Is voting a Christian responsibility?
That's very interesting.
Many Christians don't want to vote. They doubt that candidates are godly leaders and can't support either side behavior. Mistrust abounds on both sides, and neither seems to reflect the love of Jesus. This election season, the danger is embracing the conclusion that Christians should not engage in voting or politics.
People I greatly admire have chosen to abstain from the mudslinging and name-calling process. On reflection, I can't say I blame them. I myself have been guilty of engaging in the name-calling and mudslinging on X and not being engaged enough in Jesus' actual response to any of this.
To vote or not to vote? What would Jesus do? In a democracy like ours in the United States, elections are pivotal moments where citizens can come together to determine the future of their communities, state, and nation. Yet recent studies show that a growing trend of voters' disengagement amongst Christians in the United States.
With an estimated of 32 million Christians likely to sit out elections, voter apathy is emerging as a troubling sign for both the church and this disengagement, and is driven by frustration with divisive politics and a lack of appealing candidates, raising an important question. You know what that question is? What happens when believers, called to be the salt and the light in the world, retreat from their civic responsibilities?
Do we even have a civic responsibility when we are called to preach the gospel to the lost and to make disciples? The short answer is yes, we do. Christians must see voting as a civil obligation and a faith-driven act that allows us to bring God's principles into public life and influence the culture for the good.
I know we all feel disillusioned, but when I look at scripture, I am led to believe disillusionment is not an option. Apathy toward recent elections is understandable.
Many individuals feel alienated by the polarizing nature of recent elections and perceive that neither party reflects their fundamental values. This may be true, but what if Christians did not battle with each other to determine the righteousness of the slavery and eventual abomination?
Galatians 6:9 reads, it says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up."
Over 68% of non-voting Christians cite a lack of interest in politics. It contrasts other express frustrations as choosing the lesser or two evils rather than a candidate they wholeheartedly support.
And no circumstance is more imperfect than one led by imperfect people. Scripture encourages engagement, even in imperfect circumstances. Jeremiah 29:7 calls believers to seek the welfare of the city where I have sent you into exile, and pray to the Lord on its behalf, for it's in welfare you will find your welfare.
Voting is not just a personal preference. It's an act of stewardship in obedience to God, called to influence the world. Take a look at Matthew 25:14-30. It teaches us that we are held accountable for how we use God's resources and opportunities.
Just as the servants were judged for what they did with what they were entrusted with, we are responsible for using our voices and voting for good. Romans 13:1-7 affirms the importance of engaging with governing authorities, as all authority comes from God.
Voting is not just about choosing a leader, it's about being faithful in this small thing and trusting God with the rest.
We've been given the freedom to vote, the opportunity to influence our culture, and the responsibility to uphold God's truth in the public arena.
My spiritual reflection tells me all small parts is to vote for what we believe is right. Voting is not just about choosing a leader, it's about being faithful in this small thing and trusting God will do the rest.
Whether by mail, early voting, or showing up at the polls on election day. Let us make our voices heard, not for the sake of political power, but for the sake of being salt and light in a world desperately in need of hope.
So this is definitely 911 crisis. Now that's real talk.
Be sure to listen to us on the KWAY Digital Broadcast app, KWAY-DB, and guess what?
It is free.
Yes, it is. And online at www.kwaygospel.com. And we're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Podbean Podcasts.
So please don't miss your blessings.
We'll look forward to you listening to Real Talk.